Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. If you watch the Patreon channel, you'll know that I posted a video yesterday about 3-year-old Sherin Mathews. Little 3-year-old Sherin Mathews was a little girl who was killed by her adopted father and stuffed in a culvert back in 2017. I watched this case from the beginning, from the moment that I saw the report that this little girl was missing. I sat there watching all the Dallas news media, their drone footage, their helicopter footage. I watched everything as they went to search for this child. And I don't know what drew me to the case. But I do know that I have an issue when children are harmed. To me, it's the most vile thing you can do, is to harm a child. If this little girl did nothing to anybody to deserve the fate that became her. Little girl was adopted from India, brought here by Wesley and Cindy Mathews, only for Wesley Mathews to kill her. Well, here's the facts. That video I made yesterday turns out to be obsolete, incorrect, because as of yesterday, he pled guilty to a lesser charge. They let him plead guilty to injury to a child by omission. Basically taking life without parole off the board, off the table. He was set to start a capital murder trial yesterday, but they let him cop a plea. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right at all. I believe anything less of life without parole for this man is justice denied for Sherin Mathews. And the fact the prosecutors already dropped all charges against Cindy Mathews makes me sick, because there's no way she didn't know. For crying out loud, she was in the home at the time it happened. But the night before, they left her alone for hours while they went out with their biological child to dinner. And then the next morning, she was dead at the hands of Wesley Mathews. So yes, he injured a child by murdering her. Yet we're going to let him have a weaker plea? A weaker charge? A weaker charge than murder? If something had happened and it was an accident, you would have called the ambulance, would you not? You wouldn't just stuff her in a culvert. Sick bastard. But like I said, I followed this story from the beginning, and it's made me sick. And it's haunted me since 2017. The idea that a parent could do this to a child that only wants to be loved. And then you find out during grand jury testimony that he used some kind of deadly object to kill this child. And then you find out as well during that grand jury testimony, some of the stuff that's come out, that they had physically abused her. She had fractures in her face that showed she had been abused. I give up with our justice system. I am done with it. I'm so sick and tired of seeing children hurt and murdered by people and them getting off scot-free. And I'm sorry, when you murder a child, in my opinion, anything less than life without parole is justice denied. Personally, I think if you murder a child, you should be put to death. I know that's not the liberal position. That's not the Christian position. But you know what? That's my position. You got all these people out there that are worried about abortion. But they're not worried about the living, breathing child. Now, this man could serve somewhere from 5 to life. But that wouldn't be life without parole. I hope the jury does not give him 5 years. If they give him the minimum, so help me, I'm going to lose my damn mind. This man deserves to go away and never see the light of day again. Ever. He murdered a child. The good thing is, you've got a group of people out there that are trying to pass a law called Sherin's Law. Now, where it may not have prevented what happened to this little girl in the end, it may prevent another child from being left alone hours on end under the age of 5 years old. Sherin's Law is a law that they're trying to get Congress here, or the state legislature here in Texas, and I think it should be a national thing, you ask me. You should not be allowed to leave your child that's under 5 years old alone for hours on end while you just go out to have fun. If you don't want the responsibility of being a parent, don't be one. It's that simple. And the defense attorney had the nerve, in the start of the punishment phase yesterday, to talk about how much he, the father, so-called father, the killer, loved this little girl. What kind of nerve does that defense lawyer have to sit there and say that a man who was just confessed to killing his child loved that child? I'm sorry, you cannot love a child and kill them. It's simple. And I'm sorry, folks. My opinion is the moment that child was born, the child lives. From the moment that child is born, that child should be taken care of and protected by its parents, not hurt and killed by their parents. I feel so bad for this little girl. It kills me. I don't understand it. I know this video has become a bit of a ramble. It's because I just don't understand. I don't get it, and I don't want to get it. To hell with our justice system. If this man gets anything less than life in prison, to hell with our justice system. I've seen too many cases, too many stories of little kids being harmed or killed, and people getting off scot-free. I mean, come on, it wasn't that long ago that I did a story here on the Big Rant Show talking about a man in California who was caught. I'm not talking alleged to have done it. Was caught in the act of molesting a child. Was caught in the damn act. And he got 3 months house arrest. Doesn't even have to register as a sex offender. And now you have this case where the guy gets to cop to a lesser plea to where he may end up seeing no more jail time, because if they give him that 5 years, They're going to say time served, most likely, and let him go home. Because I believe he's been in jail for often, at least for a good portion of this time. I'm sorry, the man does not deserve to breathe the same air as you and I. He deserves to be in that state penitentiary. That's where he deserves to be. He deserves to be in prison. And I don't care what they do with him. Put him in solitary, put him in general population. I don't give a damn. But all I know is I don't see why they went the way they did. Now I know before any of you get out there saying, well, what do you know? You're no legal scholar, blah, 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 blah. I don't have to be a legal scholar to know that our justice system has flaws in it. I also don't have to be some lawyer to understand that a little child lost their lives at the hands of a monster. If any of the story is true, that he killed this child over milk, what kind of monster is he? And what kind of monster is his wife for standing beside him? Anyhow, this has been the Big Rant Show. I've been your host, Jacob Keck. I'll see you down the road.